Alright. Hello everyone, my name is Dolley Madison. I was born on May 20th, 1768 to my parents John Payne Jr. and Mary Coles. While I won't talk much about my upbringing, I will tell you that I grew up as a Quaker, my parents' religion, in Virginia, and I was known for having a charming and outgoing personality. At 21, I married my first husband, John Todd, who was a Quaker like my parents. In 1790. We had two sons, John Payne Todd in 1792 and our other son, William Temple Todd, in 1793. Sadly, in October of 93, my husband and William both died from the yellow fever epidemic that swept through Philadelphia. A few months later, while I was renting out rooms to make money, I made a comment to a friend that the great little Madison had asked to see me this evening. I was referring to James Madison as one of my renters Aaron Burr had introduced me to. While there was a 17-year age difference, me being 26 and him being 43, we ended up getting married in September 15th of 1794. We lived for a little bit in Philadelphia before moving to Montpelier in Virginia, and then in 1800 to Washington, D.C., so my husband could serve as Thomas Jefferson's Secretary of State. After Thomas's presidency, James won the 1808 election and was president from 1809 to 1817. At 40 years old, I became the official White House hostess, and was known for hosting many parties, such as my drawing room gatherings on Wednesday evenings and the dove parties for the wives of political figures. These parties were known to have broken many traditions by welcoming, in many ways, one being welcoming guests of all social standings, not just prominent political figures, as well as promoting bipartisanship, of inviting political figures from all different parties, and probably most known, taking on an active role as the First Lady instead of passively just hosting parties. I was active in political networking and gathering support for my husband's political endeavors. The most known thing about my parties were probably my serving ice cream. I became widely associated with this, and I am very well known for making ice cream a popular dessert in the White House. While I am easily associated with ice cream, the biggest thing I'm probably known for would be my role in the War of 1812. In 1814, the British invaded and burned down the White House. But before the British arrived, during the evacuation, I refused to flee before a slave had saved George Washington's portrait, and I told him that he would break the frame if he had to. I thought it was important, as this painting is a symbol of America's independence and national pride, and I refused to let the enemy burn the memory of our first president. This portrait can now be found in the Smithsonian Institution's National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C. After my husband's presidency, we retired to Montpelier. We didn't live there long though, as James died on June 28, 1836 at 85. I was 68 at the time, and because of financial issues, I sold my husband's papers to Congress and sold Montpelier, and moved back to Washington, D.C. in 1837. On July 12, 1849, I died at 81. So as of now, some people consider me to be an American hero because I saved the portrait of George Washington, but also because I largely established the modern role of the First Lady through political influence and instituting charity work. Well, thank you for listening to my life story, and goodbye.